everyone. I'm Becca Wilkie and we are reaching you live in Abuja. This is the Ballot. A very good evening to you and thank you for joining us on this special day when we are rekindling love and expressing it in its finest form. And we have a lot as we go about exploring love. Let's not forget to reaffirm love for country. It's called patriotism. And back to the business of the day, we're just 10 days away from the presidential election and the game is on, with tactical passes and political tackles that may not be deemed strange in the game of politics. While some may have clarity on what to expect in the season of politics, others are still clearing the clouds that seem to gather every waking day leading to the elections. But not to worry, we'll attempt to get clarifications on those gray areas as much as we can here on the ballot, especially as it concerns the political parties, their candidates and their manifestos. And speaking of manifestos, we're bringing you a perspective on a political party that is very much in the race, and they say they're here to win it. Whether they succeed or not, we'll find out soon enough. The conversation on the ballot today will focus on a member of the Young Progressive Party, YPP. But before we get into that, let's bring you tonight's major highlights.
And God willing, Asuwaju is going to be delivered as the next president of the Federal Republic.
APC campaign train deaths in Owerri, signaling
you
the
are to
running off
preclude
of
the activities of quasi security agents in all political activities.
IGP Usman Akali Baba reads the Riot Act to intending electoral offenders. President Muhammadu Buhari led the APC campaign train to Owerri, the Imo State capital. The president joined Bola Ahmed Tinubu to seek support of the people of the southeast for the party's presidential race. The campaign rally in Owerri signals the rounding off of the party's outreach in the southeast.
We are very grateful for your support, and God willing, Asuwaju is going to be delivered as the next president of the Federal Republic.
Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu commended the president for the various landmark projects across the country, including the Southeast Infrastructure Renewal. He promised to uphold and build on the legacy of the President Buhari-led administration if elected.
Muhammadu Buhari, we continue. We are not seeking the booty of office to assist for a good life. We are going to prudently manage and increase your revenue generation capacity.
Presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, Alhaji Atiku Abubakar says actualization of his mandate come February 25 will be a stepping stone for an Igbo presidency in Nigeria. The former vice president made the pledge while addressing party supporters at Opera Square in Enugu State in continuation of his nationwide campaign.
I am going to be the stepping stone to an Igbo presidency. And I mean it. And I mean it. Whether an Igbo man is from the southeast or from the south-south, it is the same race.
And towards achieving a safe, secure and ideal environment for the conduct of credible polls, the Inspector General of Police, Usman Akali Baba, reiterated the readiness of the force in dealing with violators during the conduct of the general elections.
You are to preclude the activities of quasi security agents in all political activities who may be employed by politicians from participating in the electoral process. You are hereby warned to ensure the emplacement of firm actions that will deter attacks on INEC facilities.
Let's begin our main conversation for tonight. My guest is a contender in the race for the House of Representatives. He's reportedly well grounded in grassroots politics. He believes is in touch with his people in the Federal Capital Territory and desires to represent them at the federal level. Our guest on the ballot today is John Alphabet, the House of Representative candidate for the Amak Buhari Federal Constituency. He's represented the Young Progressive Party, YPP. Mr. Alphabet, welcome to the ballot.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure.
You see, your name itself is so peculiar, and the question is, how did you come up with that name? Did you ever ask your parents how you got that name?
Well, the name has a meaning, and because we are Africans, every name has a meaning. So you might think Alphabet is an English name. Yes, it is, but it actually means all possibilities, limitless.
And so how are you applying that to this your political race?
It applies to everything that I stand for. One, it shows that all things are possible for us in these 2023 elections, for us as a young progressive candidate. And for me, it makes me not to look at anything as way beyond us.
Okay. My first question would be, I mean, your whole manifesto and even the political party itself, it stands for paradigm shift, moving from the old generation to the young generation. You're seeking for a paradigm shift from the old to the young. And the question is, how do you intend to do that?
You see, interestingly, it's not so much of what the party is pushing for. It's what life is designed to be. Everything that has life is destined to grow. And if you stop a system, a political system, from growing, from evolving, you also impede on the development of the country. And that's what we've seen in our political space, where people who have been there have consistently remained there without new ideas. So the party is not just for young people, but it's for young progressive minds who believe that they have something new to contribute to nation building. And that's what my candidature also brings to bear. Okay,
leaning on what you just said, you just talked about the young people and you keep hammering on the word young. Where does that leave the older generation who also constitute a significant percentage of the electorate?
So we are not taking them out of the race. And there's no system that can actually operate without the wisdom of the old and the energy of the young. But we are saying that there have been a lopsidedness in the political participation that we've seen in Nigeria. You actually have more of the old and less of the young. But where we are right now, we're actually also not too young in the real definition of young. It's only in Nigeria, much more in Africa, that you still see that youth is being defined as people between the age of 16, 18 to 40. That's not the true definition of a youth. A youth should actually stop at 25, max 30. So we're actually not young to run, not young to lead, because I'm above 30 already, so I'm actually not a young person, if you want to put it in that context.
Okay. Leaning on that again, I asked this question, and that is, we have political muscles, standing like pillars in the race. How do you intend to muscle your way through these pillars, these strong pillars, existing pillars, in the political climate, the political environment? How do you intend to muscle your way through such that you become the favorite and the chosen party?
I think interestingly, the 2023 elections is being shaped by a candidate-driven elections. Today you have what has never happened in our political dispensation today, a group of people that cuts across different demography, coming together, being bounded by common pain and common interest, called the obedient movement. We have never had that before. We've had PDP members, we have APC members. And why are they supporting somebody like P2B for president today? It's not because they love the party, Labour Party, so to say. is because they believe in an idea that a candidate is pushing. It's the same thing that we are doing here in Abuja as well. We've had people, we have even a current person who is occupying the office of the House of Reps. What has he contributed to Abuja as it is? What has he contributed to the legislative function that he's supposed to do? What has been his contribution to community development? How has he been able to bridge the leadership gap that you have in the area councils and the FCT administration? And that's the question that the constituents are asking. And these are the questions we are answering and also showing them what can be done. So we are not afraid of who are big weight in the politics. We're actually pushing and selling an idea and selling a candidate-driven election and the political narrative to our people.
Okay, now let's go to the National Assembly. You just talked about the current candidate. You are also vying for this position. The question is, what are you bringing to the table?
So I'll tell you, number one, we are running all in a democratic system where there's a wide division in Nigeria as it has never been seen before. If you look at the creation of Abuja, there's something unique about the creation of Abuja. It was an intentional decision of Nigeria to have a new capital. And I don't think it is a mistake that Abuja is nicknamed the center of unity. But there's no unity even in Abuja because the concept of citizenship have not been established. So one of the things that I intend to establish as a culture and also to make a law is the concept of citizenship, to become our superior but common identity. When we do that, then Nigeria will be able to have a Nigerian dream, something that binds us together, that also gives direction to every young Nigerian to know what this country is about. So that's something that we've never seen in the National Assembly. Outside of that, we have a huge disconnect, like I said, a gap in true representation in Abuja. Abuja has no inter-transport system. It is the responsibility of the representative of the people to talk to the minister and to see how to make this FCT more functional. Our area councils can also do much more, but there's also what the area councils don't even know exists. So there's a lot of gap that we're going to bridge, and that's what we are bringing to the fore.
Okay, let me ask you this question as well. Are you satisfied with the system, the current system of the National Assembly, the legislative process that is, currently being adopted by the National Assembly?
I'll tell you this. I'm not satisfied, and to a large extent what we've been doing is just a repetition of the same old thing. Nigeria's democracy, like we've always known, is a copied democracy. If you look at where we copied it from, how they're fed. The National Assembly is known for something that my generation and generation younger than me don't even understand: constitution amendment. What we are asking for is condition amendment. That's one of the things we are going to champion, where the legislative representation of the people do more than just the act of passing bills, but becomes an active member in the executive arm of government. Because where we are today, democracy is as dynamic as the need of the people per time. What Nigeria needs today is condition amendment. So no matter how we keep changing the constitution, if it does not reflect in the condition of the people, then we are basically wasting our time.
Okay, so we've talked about a constitutional amendment, which will be probably one of your area of focus. And now let's go a bit hypothetical. Let's say you win, for instance. Which would be one major bill that you pursue with tenacity and purpose to reach out to get it actualized?
A bill to establish citizenship as our common but superior identity and to establish a Nigerian dream for Nigerians.
I wish you the best in that regard. Now, FCT is a very peculiar environment. It's not like a state government where you have state assembly, you have governors and all of that. Can you walk us through the dynamics of you being a representative of the people here in Amak and Buhari?
So it's as dynamic and also as simple as it is. FCT is one of the space that makes up what we call Nigeria. It has citizens from different states of origin, but interestingly, it has one of the unique opportunities that many states don't have. Outside of Lagos today, there is no space in Nigeria state that people are willing and migrating into as the FCT. So it tells us that FCT cannot continue to just function as the political capital of Nigeria. A lot more needs to be done. And for that to be done, it's not going to be done by representatives that just come to represent the people on the basis of tribe. It will be on the basis of competence, on the basis of vision, on the basis of compassion for the people. And that's what we bring to the fore. But also, there's also a huge strength that promoting national integration and modeling the template for Nigeria holds for Abuja, which is one of the things that have not been done. So you still have the issue of indigenous Abuja original inhabitants, marginalization and all of that, which is not just peculiar to the people here. And then there's also what I believe should also be done for FCT, which is a typical and a critical look at the art that established FCT, for us to modernize it, to be able to adapt and to do much more to our contemporary challenges.
Unfortunately, we really don't have time, but I want to ask you this one question before we go on the break. And that question is, the YPP, you know, some will argue that it's not as popular. As a matter of fact, INEC was at the brink of, you were at the brink of being delisted by the INEC Commission. And the question is, what do you intend to do to build up, you know, your strength in terms of spread and reach, such that YPP becomes a party to reckon with in the future?
Okay. Unfortunately, I think that's not a true representation of YPP. The party was registered in 2017. Contested in the first election in 2019. We won the senatorial seat in Anambra. And the unique thing about the party is that it's a party that believes in infiltration and taking a geopolitical zone part time. Right now we have a lot of focus in Abuja, and we are looking at us. We're just thinking of not all of the seats. If we can win House of Reps, the party will become as popular as the people that runs under it, what they represent, what they bring to the fore. That's what we build the party, and that's what we intend to do.
Okay, all the best. We'll go on to the next segment of this program. Now we'll prepare for the last segment of tonight's program, and it is called Ticking the Boxes. Ticking the Boxes is that time where you tick the boxes on the major highlights, the major prospects of your party in achieving some goals within the frame of 4 years, if you win. And the first one will be, we'll just take a quick break and then we'll be back. Another quick reminder that the targets in these boxes are mostly public policy issue, and candidates for the proxies are at liberty to choose whichever options best suits their views. Otherwise, these targets are within a timeline of 4 years, which amounts to the president's first term in office. We'll begin with the first target in the box. And the first target for you will be reducing cost of governance. Is it something that is achievable? Is it undecided? You're undecided about it? You have 3 options actually. Is it realistic? Is it unrealistic? And are you undecided about it?
It is very realistic. I am fully decided about it.
Okay. And then the second one is tackling insecurity.
It is something that we must do. It is something that must be done, and will be done with a different and unique approach.
From the National Assembly,
From the National Assembly.
Okay, great. Yeah. And then we talk about low-cost housing and mass housing. You know, there's a difference between low-cost housing and mass housing for all. Is that realistic? Is it unrealistic? Are you undecided about it?
Very realistic, and Abuja will be a model for that, actually.
Okay. And our final one, since your manifesto is predicated on youth empowerment, youth development, the question is, maybe it's a given, but I'll still ask it anyway for the records. And that is youth empowerment. Is it achievable? Can you achieve it within that 4 years that you have, if elected?
We'll achieve it for a demography that will also empower other people. So we are looking at sustainable development, sustainable youth empowerment and emancipation.
Thank you very much. And on that note, I'd like to thank my guest, John Alphabet. That name is a name I'm just hearing for the first time, but I'll keep it in my memory for a very long time to come. He is a young Progressive Party candidate, a contender for the House of Representatives, representing Amak Buhari Federal Constituency. Thank you so much for coming.
The pleasure is always mine.
And it's officially 10 days in our countdown to the presidential election day. And if you really want to be involved in deciding your future, your PVC is your calling card. Get ready to do the needful. Be part of the process to the emergence of a new leader. The ballot will be back again, same time. Thank you and good night.